Hello, everyone. My name is Evan Huang. Today I have two presentations for you and a short Q&A at the very end. So my first presentation is on AI education at US universities. First, an introduction to myself. So I go to Caltech. I'm class of 2029, and I'm studying AI and robotics. I am a RISE Global winner, one of 100, and I am a Robotics World Champion, and I went to Linfield College for high school. So we have entered the era of AI literacy. Um, okay, some of these my father has already talked about. I'll just say them again. So in America, 30% of jobs are estimated to be taken by AI by 2035. Now that number is like up to debate, but the point is that this is a real thing that's happening. There are jobs being taken by AI. And in China, in the last few years, we've seen 12,000 majors that have been cut from universities and 10,000 new majors added. And most of them are related to AI, robotics, or other technologies. So what's happening here is in this era of AI, um, AI can do administrative work. It can do math. It can do coding. So memorization is really not as important as it was before. And what's really important is being able to identify problems, ask the right questions, and to problem solve. And you can kind of think of this like the calculator replacing the abacus. So if we look at AI programs at US universities, there are a few schools that have their own AI major. So they have an entire degree that's dedicated to machine learning, algorithms, everything AI. So like tech schools like MIT and CMU. But right now, most schools do not actually have their own AI degree. So instead, what they have is an AI minor or an AI track. So how that works is you have a major like computer science or physics, and then you just learn AI as a topic inside your major, or it's something you learn on top of your major. If we take a look at MIT, so MIT it's one of the schools that has a dedicated AI degree. It's called Artificial Intelligence and Decision Making. They recently built they recently had a building built called the Schwartzman College of Computing, and it houses a lot of their computer science and AI classes. And they have an AI research lab as well called CSAIL. I'm just going to go through a few examples of schools. So next is Stanford. Stanford, it's a really interesting name. It's called Symbolic Systems Program. So that's their program that combines AI with they usually do philosophy, psychology, logic, ethics. So they like combining AI with the humanities, and then for their AI research, it's called human-centered AI intelligence. So uh, connected to fields like medicine. At Harvard, they have the CS plus X interdisciplinary major. So that just means computer science plus a different field as as the combination. And then AI is an option inside computer science. Harvard also has the famous CS50 course. I'm not sure, maybe some of you might have heard of it before. It's a computer science course, And inside that course, they have this AI helper. It's called AI Duck. It's a specialized version of ChatGPT, and they encourage the students to use it. So colleges are really embracing the use of AI. At Caltech, we have a model called AI for Science. So science being physics, chemistry, biology, astronomy, and like even economics. So this model at Caltech it's because we really believe that computer science and AI is important to all fields. So t typically students here, I would say all of them, they will learn computer science and AI to some level. Like no matter what your major is, it's going to be useful. So the research situation at Caltech is really great. First, we have JPL. So JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, they do robotic space exploration. Um, if you didn't know, JPL it's a NASA center, but it was actually founded before NASA, and JPL is managed by Caltech. So a lot of our students here, they get opportunities to do research and intern at JPL. And JPL has also been using AI recently in their research. We also have the CAST lab. So that's like a physical facility that's used for testing robotics projects. Um, and then next, this one's really important. It's SURF, Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowships. So that's funded undergraduate research. I'm gonna give like two statistics. So first is 50% of first year students complete a SURF research project. So that's 50% of students at Caltech doing funded research in their first year. And also 90% of undergraduates will complete some kind of research in their undergraduate time at Caltech. So there's there's a lot of research opportunities and it's really encouraged at Caltech. And right now I am actually doing a surf at the University of Washington. Right now I'm living somewhere close to campus. The funding is split between Caltech and UW. My current project is Cindy LLM. So this is an AI that helps with equation discovery. So what that is it's trying to figure out the equation from lots of data. So like, for example, trying to figure out the flow of water around a cylinder. Like there's some really interesting dynamics at play. And this sort of thing is really helpful for fluid modeling. So like for weather, for operating submarines, and also aerodynamics. So like plane shape and drone flight. And I think this project is a really great example of the of Caltech's AI for science model because like we're literally using AI for scientific discovery. And I listed two examples here, but it really helps in a lot of fields like chemistry, biology, economics, robotics control. Speaking of robotics, I'll just touch on robotics for this slide. So AI it's something digital, right? It's not physical, but when you put AI in a physical body, you get embodied AI, that's robotics, right? I mean, robotics doesn't have to be AI, but like in recent years, robotics and AI, they're really deeply connected. So, um, for schools, only a few schools have a dedicated robotics major. So we have schools like CMU, University of Michigan, uh, Worcester, I believe, Worcester Polytechnic Institute. And most schools, they only have a robotics minor, like Caltech, MIT, Stanford. I think that similar to AI, we will see a lot more schools offering robotics as a major or at least a minor. Um, I myself, I'm doing a robotics minor at Caltech, and I can tell you that robotics is becoming very popular. I can say that firsthand, because one of my robotics classes last term had double the class size from last year. So they had like 16 or something last year, and then they had like 30 this year. So you can really see the popularity of robotics growing in real time. If you are interested in studying AI and robotics in US colleges, this is a roadmap that I would recommend. Um, I think a lot of this was mentioned already, but I'll just go over it again. So first is getting down your STEM foundations. So like I mean from young really, from elementary to high school, just making sure that your mathematics, your science, also getting some coding in there, really getting your foundations solid. Next is STEM competitions. So it's really a great way to flex your knowledge, to really test your limits beyond the classroom. Um, I've competed in a lot of STEM competitions like math, physics, chemistry, biology, economics. Uh, gotten a lot of awards in them. Uh, Next, we have computer science. It's a really great time to self-learn computer science. There are a lot of resources online. For I can't say as much. I mean, it started becoming popular when I was in like year 10 or something. I used ChatGPT as soon as it came out. It helps a lot with research. I think it's really important understanding how to use AI, which I will be getting into in my next presentations. Next is VIX robotics, or or like any kind of robotics, but I think VIX robotics is definitely one of the better ones. I started VIX robotics in year 9, participated for 5 years, so that's all of high school. I got national champion, world champion, like other awards at the national and world level. Um, so that's great. Then there's research and innovation. So there's science fair. You can start from intermediate. Then once you've started getting into physics, there's NZYPT. That's the physicist tournament. Um, so I've done all of those as well. And then we have independent projects. This one you kind of need to be self-motivated for. Um, it's really helpful. Like for example, like 35% of admitted Caltech students did research. You can see that's like a third. It's over a third. So it's important, increasingly so, but you also don't have to. As long as you can kind of show your dedication to STEM, that's what matters. And then another really important one is leadership. So like for example, I was the leader of my robotics team. I was a robotics coach. I was also a head referee for competitions in Auckland before my father took over. We also have another presentation from another speaker on leadership later on. Yeah, that's the end of my first presentation. I'll just go straight into the next and we can have questions at the end. So my next presentation is on AI and US university admissions, so applications and admissions. So AI is used in US university applications. It's used by both students and schools. So students, they like to use AI in essays, in the honors and activities, in interview preparation, in research reports. By research reports, I mean like papers that they write before the application. And then they also use it for university fit research because you want to know which universities you think you want to apply to. And then schools will also use AI on your applications. They use it on your essays, your transcripts, and then in at least one case in your interviews, but we'll talk about that later. So AI use in essays, this is like one of the most popular examples. Uh, so you can do a lot of things with AI in your essays. You can do brainstorming. You can use it for grammar, vocabulary. It uses a lot of great techniques like imagery, analogies, metaphors, comparisons, everything. It can be a very useful tool for weak writers, especially if you're a non-native speaker. And like I mean, you could generate entire essays if you really wanted to. But I mean, this is gonna go into my next slide, which is the AI policies of these top universities. So we've split this into four levels. So level four, it's no AI use for generation or brainstorming. And officially, Harvard and Brown have taken this stance. At level three, we have AI use for brainstorming only. So schools like Yale, Cornell, etc. Level two, we have AI use for line editing. So that's like grammar and word choice. So schools like Caltech, CMU. This L1 is a really interesting case where we have AI use permitted. And it's kind of like only really one school, which is Duke. Uh, we will get into that later. It's pretty interesting. And then most schools are L0, which is no official AI policy. MIT, Stanford. Um, but I think that'll probably change soon. I think these schools will have to take an official stance on this. AI is also used by university admissions. Most top US universities do use AI. First, there's the essay. This one's a bit uncertain. Some universities use it to score your grammar and style. Some of them use it to summarize essays, to like just read beforehand. But generally, it's still the admission officers that are they are still reading your essay and they are having final say in your essay. So I wouldn't be too worried about that one. Next, the transcript. And schools are definitely using AI on your transcript. That's just to scan the grades. So the one thing I would maybe think about is if if you have like kind of weird scoring, if your school uses weird scoring, you might want to like make clarifications in your additional information. Um, oh yeah, this is another interesting one. So most top US universities do not use AI detection tools on your applications. So there are some people who say and they think that like these colleges they're using like GPT-0 or something. They're using like AI detection tools on your applications, but it's not actually really happening. There's no evidence of that. Usually what actually happens is that the people who are reading your essays, they're just really good at spotting AI usage. It's their job, right? They're admissions officers. It's their job. They don't usually use tools. A lot of admissions officers, they've come out and they've said that they do not trust AI detection tools. They think it's too inaccurate, which it is that they are inaccurate. Next, let's talk about the weight shift. So this is changes in how important different parts of the application are. So first is the weight of supplemental essays has gone down because a lot of people are using AI to write their essays. So like if the writing is good, like they can't tell if that's you writing or if it's AI writing. And here I'll talk about Duke, which I mentioned before. So Duke used to rate essays numerically. They used to rate essays 1 to 5. They do not do that anymore. So essays do not have a quantifiable weight on your application anymore, but it's still being evaluated. It's still being evaluated qualitatively. So I like even though you could generate it using AI, like I still would not do that. That's still just a bad idea. Um, some schools are also just completely removing essays because they just cannot be bothered to deal with AI. Uh, I don't think those are usually like lower ranked schools though. I don't think any of the top schools are really like completely removing their essays. Um, so what else have we seen? The weight of standardized testing has gone up. So that's the SAT and ACT. And that's because these tests are one of the few ways that admissions officers are sure that you did not use AI on. Because like even like your school homework, like they can't be like 100% sure that you didn't use AI on that. But the SAT and ACT, it's more standardized and they're more confident in them. Another reason is because it's been a while since COVID, right? Um, a lot of schools they went test optional during COVID, and now they're reinstating them, so it's becoming more important. The weight of live interviews has also gone up because you can't rely on essays anymore to see an applicant's personality, because they could be AI written. Uh, but I would say that interviews are probably still not very important. They weren't really important before. I still don't think they're actually that important. If you don't get one, it's not too big of a deal. Um, Now I'll talk about three of Caltech's AI policies. So first we have their official policy for applicants. It allows for line editing. So that means grammar, word choice, and brainstorming. And they have something called the trusted adult test, which means whenever you're considering to use AI in your application, first think if a teacher or parent would be able to do that for you. So like for example, a teacher or parent, they're obviously allowed to like look over your essay and give you notes. Like think about it like if you're in English class, like obviously they can do that, but they can't write the entire essay for you, right? The second policy is the AI disclosure policy, which just means that you need to say if and how you used AI in your application. And this is actually a new policy that was added last application cycle, so the one after me. So I didn't have to do this, but the applicants the next year did. And then this is the interview one. This one's interesting. So Caltech has an AI interview required for all applicants that submit a research paper, and this AI will ask you questions to see if you understand your research. Um, this was also added last application cycle, so I also didn't have to do this. Um, and also, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure Caltech is the first university to use AI interviews like this for undergraduate applicants. Okay, now we're going to get into. So earlier on, I talked about like what AI can do for you in essays. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's not all good. of course, there's a lot of bad. So first is generic phrases. If you've used AI to like generate text before, you probably know about this. It says like a lot of things that are really easy to spot. Like it'll say something like it's not X, it's Y. Like that kind of comparison. It's really common, it's really easy to spot. And admission officers can spot it. They use really generic structure that's like really clean but also uninteresting. They use over descriptive language, like they're just adding adjectives, adding description to things that are not necessary. It doesn't add anything meaningful. AI essays lack creative ideas, which which might be surprising because like their writing it can use a lot of imagery, but like it's not actually creative. Like it's just predicting the next word. You're not gonna get like actually insightful ideas. And then the one of the really big ones is that it's impersonal, like meaning it's not going to write a good essay that reflects you personally. Like you can tell the AI your personal details, and that can help a little bit, but like nobody knows yourself better than you. And also, if you give the AI your personal details, it you usually like crafts an essay where it just puts your details in like random places or it doesn't make sense. It doesn't actually like make a coherent story that reflects your personal experiences. So generating like full AI essays, it's not good. It's just not good. So with that, I'll tell you about like what I would recommend using AI for. Here are some great uses. So first, grammar. Like it's just like a spell check, basically. It's like schools are not really going to care if you're using AI for grammar. Um, Next is background research. So just researching universities, trying to see if they're a fit for you, looking into like details of their programs. For the good use cases, we have word choice. So if you're like repeating the same word over and over, or you're not sure what word to use, this is pretty good. I would just be careful that you're not using super generic AI words. There are some words that like AI really likes to use. Next is tone and structure. Again, it's similar. Like if you're really struggling, this can be a good option. Also be careful. Brainstorming. It's nice for getting a lot of different ideas. I would also be careful with this one because it can actually lock you into ideas. Like you read the ideas on the page and then you think this is an amazing idea, but like maybe you could have thought of a better idea yourself. So for brainstorming, I would always recommend to brainstorm by yourself first. Like get all of your own ideas on the page first, and then you can see what else an AI can give you. And then bad, of course, is just full essay generation. Like not only is the essay gonna be not great, your admission officer is also just it's gonna they're gonna notice. It's pretty easy to spot. I'll also talk about AI for studying in general. Um, this was talked about a little bit already. I'll just say I'll just say this again. So AI is great for background research, just like researching any topic. It's great at finding sources, generating practice questions to quiz you on, explaining concepts. Like one really good thing about the concept explanation is that you can have it give you analogies. So like comparing it to a different situation, a way it's easier to understand. Also study planning. The bad things, directly copying answers, you're not learning anything that way. If you don't check your answers, you could be getting wrong or inaccurate information. These were all mentioned before. Some AI tools that I like to use are Notebook LM, because you give it a lot of material and then it has a lot of tools that can do things with those materials and it's all in one space. It's very nice and easy to use. Another one is Perplexity. I like using it for research and finding sources. So yeah, when I'm like doing research, I use Perplexity to find lots of different sources to look at. There's a lot of other AI. I would encourage trying out a lot of different ones. They're each like good for different things. Like Claude is good for code, for example. And also some of the AI they offer premium versions if you're like a student or something. So also you should capitalize on that as well. Um, Yep, that's the end of my presentations. I'll take a few questions. You can also scan this QR code to contact my father. And I'm also coming back to New Zealand in late August. So I can take a few questions now.